Top of the morning folks, today from the Reddit Rainforest. Well, I just found out my mom writes naked pleographic letters to prisoners for profit. Anyone else found out anything about their parents they'd rather not know? My mom once told me over lunch, when I was 26. Your brother was always my favorite. Your sister was always your dad's favorite. I always felt bad for you. Because you were no one's favorite. I mean, I always knew. But it was weird to get external confirmation like that. Walked in on my dad, mom and stepmom having a threesome. Needless to say, I nearly puked there and then. Hey, it's nice that they all get along. Except that they do not. That was such a weird experience. My mom and dad were introduced to each other by their drug dealer. When my dad asked him what she like, the dealer told him she buys weed by the pound and likes to duck. He told me this while crying. A few days after she died, I was 12. I found out my mother had an abortion before me. Then she got pregnant with me, but did not abort, just so she could prove to my father that she was not cheating on him. First words out of her mouth to my father, after it was determined my blood type is the same as my father's. What now? Methodica? I was born with the purpose of winning an argument. My sister was the scorn baby. Mom hated her mother-in-law, and when grandma told her, one boy and one girl, you have the perfect family just like me, she went and had another one. My dad is no better. After my sister was old enough to attend school, mom wanted to go back to work. Dad was afraid she'd get a good enough job to leave him. So he sabotaged her birth control and she got pregnant again. My littlest brother was born because of this. And the pregnancy almost killed her. She insisted on a vasectomy after that. I'm pretty sure my dad poses as a female online in order to chat up other females and that my mum knows. The latter I know, because they had a mini, hushed argument while I was in room, thinking I was listening to music through headphones. I was at my buddy's house. I've known the guy for a few months and his mom asks us to go and get a box of pop in the pantry in the basement. Followed my friend in case of assistance. Friend sees boxes he did not recognize. Opens to find 5-7 boxes of dildos. Any kind of sexual thing you can imagine. We both are confused and went back upstairs. He waited until I left to ask, but he told in class the next day that his parents runs a sex shop online and are the largest one in Canada. Yes, his parents own the love shop online. We crack jokes about it all the time when I'm over now. I found out that my mom is into dominance and bondage, and when she was in college her roommate, and still best friend and my favorite aunt, would strip her down and paddle her when she got a bad grade. Apparently they also had sex at it. They met my dad when they were cruising bars looking for a man to bring for a threesome. I caught my mother with her own older brother. I have never shared this with anyone in my life. This post stirred up all those memories that haunted me for 3 years when I was a teen, till the time I moved away to college. I was conceived after a Christmas party. Both my parents were hammered, got home, went wild piggy on each other. My dad passes out and my mom goes to put the spermicide in afterward just in case. She passes out. In the morning she wakes up and realizes she missed and put the spermicide in her ass. Yes, true story. I found out my parents used to be in the moonshine business in West Virginia. Later I found out that they were also growing mushrooms. That my mom is a screamer. Thanks internet for keeping me awake long enough to discover that. I was told when I was 9 that the man who raised me was not my real dad. My real dad was my stepdad's co-worker, both cops. I was told that my mom found out she was pregnant when she puked all over the bar. She knew it because she had never puked from being drunk before. I was told when I was 17 that I had 2 sisters and a brother on my dad's side. I found said siblings when I was 19. My dad had kept my existence and that of my older sister, us bastards, a secret from his wife, son and daughter their entire lives. I met dad when I was 21. He ended up sleeping on the couch for a while as both my older sister and I were conceived while he was married to his current wife. When I was 29 I learned my mom was a former stripper and possible prostitute while working at the donut bank around the time I was conceived. She ran away from home at 14, the first time, and went to work as a bartender in New Orleans. When I was 31 I learned I was conceived on the chess table that used to be in my grandparents' house and now sits in my living room. My mom recently told me she never wanted kids and finally said what the hell and succumbed to my dad's pleading once they bought the right house. Jokes on her though. She turned out to be a ducking fantastic mother. Okay, so I have been cross-dressing for my whole life. I never really told anybody, and I definitely never got caught doing it. It's a private thing, and I enjoy it, and it makes me feel good, so duck the haters. Anyway, so about 2 years ago I'm on my parents' computer looking for some game or file I downloaded years back, and I accidentally stumble upon my dad's huge collection of cross-dresser and trans naked people. I mean like, huge collection. Since then I have felt really strange about the whole thing. My mom likes to get drunk and tell me all her sexcapade stories. Among them, I have heard details of all the blowjobs she's given my stepdad and her throwing her bra at Bret Michaels. My dad used to beat up gay people for fun when he was younger. My mother's nickname when she was younger was Bunny. At the time I was told, I thought nothing of it, but now ... rabbits have a lot of sex. My mom told me she had a lesbian affair with one of her cousins. She told me this in order to prevent me from being a lesbian ... She failed. When I was about 11, me and my family were on a road trip. After we had stopped for dinner one night, we were sitting down by the table in our caravan. The table in this caravan could be transformed into a sleeping area. So as we're sitting there eating, my mom and dad are talking and reminiscing about past road trip they have done in this old caravan that had served my family for many decades. Just as I'm about to take a big bite, my dad says, I think it was right here, on this side of the caravan, that Norberton was conceived ... I would like to sincerely thank my dad for waiting with that comment until I had finished half the meal, at least. I found Polaroid pics of my mum's cream-peed underparts when I was a little kid ... My brother and his best friend were at our house. They were both 15. I was 13. My dad was at work, and my mom went to the store. So they decide that they are going to raid my parents' bedroom, looking for stuff that they had confiscated or anything else that was interesting. Well, they found my parents' little red toolbox. We bust off the back hinge of the box, and lo and behold, a trove of sex things. The list of tidbits: Kama Sutra, booby tassels. First I had seen of these ... I still get terrible images in my head. Lesbian naked people. My mom is anti-gay marriage, but apparently cool with chicks scissoring ... a vibrator, and a felt bag that had a rather large white dildo. Well, my brother's friend ... he does what anyone would do in the situation. He slaps me across the face with the dildo. Full on. Kerplo. I'm furious. With an iceberg red mark across my face. I turn to him screaming, you slap me with my own mother's ducking dildo. What the duck? He calmly responds, or your dad's. TLDR. Dad and mom have treasure of sexy time things. Get beaten in face with someone's dildo. Not sure whose. I once found my stepdad naked people stash when I was about 14. Was fapping to one when I noticed that the guy looked kinda like my stepdad, though I was sure it could not be. After all, he had a curly fro and Selleck mustache. Does not that sound like every naked people star from the time? So I continued fapping. Man, that guy looked like my stepdad. Fapping. Now, the entire time I'm watching and fapping, the camera is mostly on the penetration shot. It was not until the money shot, when I saw my mom take a nice load to the face, that I realized, yeah, that was my stepdad. My dad was obsessed with my mom. They were high school sweethearts, but my mom moved away before graduation. My dad kept all the love letters they wrote to each other, every picture they'd ever taken together, as well as rings and bracelets that she'd left behind. He bought her brand of perfume so that he could make his room smell like her. He insisted that all the women that he dated afterwards do their hair like my mom's. When my mom moved back into town years later, she was married and had a son. My dad undermined the relationship and married my mom. My half-brother is awesome, but he and my dad have never gotten along, since he blames my dad for breaking his parents up. My dad still has that box with all of her stuff from high school. I have never understood how my mom was so calm about an old boyfriend pretty much keeping a shrine to her for 10 years. Almost 30 now. After they'd split up. To sum it up, my dad was more obsessed with my mom than Gollum was with the ring. My mom is currently in her third marriage. Her current husband was the best man at her first wedding to my father. He is also my father's cousin, but that's beside the point. It just adds to the grossness of what I'm about to say. Since they have been married, my mother's nickname for her new husband has been the Switch. It never occurred to me why that was his nickname. He's an electrician, so I just figured it was in regards to that. When I asked her about it once, she just kind of shook her head and laughed it off and did not answer me. Then it hit me. The switch. My 60-year-old mother and my father's cousin are into BDSM, and he sometimes plays the submissive role. So gross. Apparently, my father has a giant dick. Ugh. He had a hernia surgery and asked my husband to help him with something that required full frontage, and for some reason my husband felt compelled to tell him about my father's huge hog. The whole thing makes me sick, because that makes me think of my mom as a size queen. If you are reading this, you made it until the end of the video. There is no more after this. Click the thumbs up button since you liked the video, because you made it until the end. On screen there should be some more videos similar to this, so either go do something else or watch another video. That's it. I do not know why you are still here. What are you waiting for, a secret message or something? Okay. Are you ready? The message is subscribers enjoy 2 great Reddit videos every day. Yeah, I know. What are you expecting though? This is a YouTube channel.